like I said, we did Alaska for 2 weeks. That's including airfare, 2 rental cars, a boat cruise where we saw all the animals, prime rib dinner. All of our food included was $1,130 per person for 2 weeks in Alaska. We went to Canine Fords and we hiked the 7 miles up and saw the ice fields. And then on the boat trip we took, we saw the ice calving into the ocean. It was like being in National Geographic TV show. I mean, I can't stress how awesome it was. But doing this is what makes that possible. So anyway, this I put a little slideshow together. This is my dining room table. 100 backpacking meals, all dehydrated, and I actually have a couple that we could pass around that are already pre-made. This is a chili, and my new favorite one that I designed. This is
Twinkies.
cheddar chipotle macaroni and cheese with ground beef in it. So these are what they look like. They're waterproof, pretty good, smell resistant for bears when you're in bear country. It's a 1-to-1 ratio for food, or water to food, unless you have mashed potatoes, then you add another 1/4 cup. Everything that we make is a 1-pot meal. So basically I carry my titanium pot, my stove, everything fits inside of it. That's my whole entire kitchen. Well, take that back. I'm a coffee junkie, so I have my mug. But everything, you can find, there's peanut butter crackers, all of your drink mixes. Kids don't want to drink water for a solid week, nor do you adults. Instant coffees, everything is available at Stop and Shop, or whatever grocery store you shop at. There's nothing that's bizarre that you have to go and hunt out and find. All the ground beef that we dehydrate, there's some pictures here. It's all 7% lean. It's a little pricey, but it doesn't have the oils or the grease in it. It keeps it from going rancid. We've done that. Do we have a bag of mashed potatoes here? You buy a 5-pound bag, you peel them, cook them, put beef or chicken broth in, whatever the meal is going to be based on. Put it through the blender, and you make a big giant potato chip in the dehydrator. Tomato sauce. Buy them into jars. Anything that doesn't have cheese. Cheese has got oil and grease in it. It'll make your meals go rancid. I keep my meals in the freezer. I've had some of them in there for a year. When I want to go get out of Dodge and jump on the Appalachian Trail, I rip the freezer open, throw them in the stuff sack, and out the door I go. I can, So, here's some pictures.
So how long will they last on the trail?
I've had 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They say they'll stay unrefrigerated for 6 months.
And you have your own dehydrator?
Yep. And now I'm going to show you the dehydrator. So here's on the trail. This is Alaska being cooked. That looks like that's got mashed potatoes and some kind of meat in it. I don't know actually who that is that's cooking. Here's the beer canister from Denali. You have to carry all your food in a beer-resistant canister. And if you pack good and you have everything dehydrated, one, it's going to be lightweight. It's going to last long without being refrigerated, and it'll fit into that little canister that's only about this big by that big around. Generally, about 1.5 pounds of food per day.
That's like a sleeping bag stuff sack, right?
That is about a sleeping bag stuff sack, maybe slightly larger, depending on the size bag you have.
Mm-hmm.
My summer bag, that's like 4 times bigger, but that's my gear is crazy. Dehydrated food. Where can you do this with your son? You're not gonna find that unless you go out to the Midwest. It's as far as you can see. There's just mountains and mountains. Kilimanjaro was like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
or actually probably a lot higher. You're above the clouds there. This is about 6,000 feet. There's our suitcase for all the meals to bring on the airplane. We had 8 people, so I think it was like 101 meals. We put a nice note in there for the TSA agent saying, "Hey, this is our food. We're Boy Scouts." You know, I'm sure that when that went through some kind of scanning device, they were scratching their heads. But
No herbs. No herbs.
yeah, and it probably looked really funny. But you can see all the different meals. There's spaghetti with meat sauce. This looks like shepherd's pie. That's a granola breakfast. This is bacon and eggs, I think. There's a lasagna. There's a whole bunch of. There's chili. There's before the frowns on the trail after hiking. But that looks like shepherd's pie. Ooh. This particular trip, because we had so many, we didn't vacuum seal them. They were going to be used right away, so they were just put in the Ziplocs. And obviously with a Ziploc, you can write the meal what it is. See, some of the kids had some fun. Best meal ever. Cheesy lasagna. Let's see. This is our current Scoutmaster cooking up his meal. Let's see. Looks like oatmeal, possibly, or it could be just like a granola style cereal. We needed water one day, so we climbed up on top of we're up on a mountain ridge, so we decided to go filter water, and one of our scouts here decided that he wanted a snow cone, so he took his one of his fruit mixes for his water jug and made a snow cone. Pretty clever. There's water purifying. This is the 8 people on the trip. Hopefully that I threw some of these pictures in to get you guys to be like, I want to do that.
Is that like 4 adults and 4 scouts, or?
It was 3 adults and 5 kids.
For about a week.
This was a week in Denali, and then we went south, and we went to Canine Forge, and we did a couple of other wilderness areas in Alaska. So we spent a total of 2 weeks. This is getting into making the food. This is the 7% lean ground beef. We add breadcrumbs to it. The breadcrumbs will actually help the meat rehydrate and not be like granular nuggets and it really helps draw that water into the food. The one thing we do when we're cooking, if you see my pot here has the insulation wrap on it. We put the 1-to-1 food to water base, and that'll sit in there for about 15 minutes. Set your tent up, let your food start soaking. Then we throw it onto the stove. We take it to a slow boil or a simmer for 2 to 3 minutes. Stick it right into those pot cozies. Put it back down for another 15 minutes. Go, whatever, relax, do some sightseeing, finish setting up your camp or whatever. And when you're done, you stir it a few times and it's ready to eat. It'll be piping hot with the insulation. And the best thing is, especially in Tennessee, when we're on the trail with other hikers, and you see these guys that are through hiking, they eat mashed potatoes and they put olive oil in it like every day. I'd be tired of that after the 3rd day. They do it for the weight and the calorie and the protein with the olive oil. But when you have other hikers or through hikers who are like looking at what the kids are eating, looking at what you're eating, they're like, oh my God, that smells great. It is great because it's all fresh foods. And I'll get into that when we get over there. Here's, we make it work parties. If the kids are going on the trip, they have to come. They have to help cut and prep all the food for the dehydrator. So we'll do like 5 food making sessions before we go away on a trip. There's one of our scouts holding tomato sauce. Varela is actually really good for dehydrating. So here's our dehydrators, and this is myself spreading out the ground beef. We actually had our troop. I bought this dehydrator. I started this about 5 years ago. My dehydrator came with a switch that was broken, a timer. So they wanted me to send it back to them, and I'm like, well, can't you just send me a switch? I see you have parts on your website. So the woman says, oh, you would fix that? I'm like, yeah, I work in an auto body shop. I can put a switch in. So because I did that, instead of sending it back and then sending me a new one, they sent me a book. They sent me more Paraflock sheets, and I told them that I was using it for Boy Scouts. They actually donated one to our Boy Scout troop.
That's great.
So it always pays to be nice. I called the woman up, said thank you for the book. It pays off.
I have that same one. It's amazing. It's a great dehydrator.
Yes, I believe this is one of the best ones on the market. Any of the little round ones that are stackable, a lot of them don't have fans to draw the air through it.
Is that one dehydrator or three?
Those are 3.
Okay.
Yes, there's 2. Yeah, 2. I think they're 9 trays. 1, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9 trays. I think it's like 15 by 15. And then the small one. That's got we call pepper melody. We just buy a 6-pack of peppers. You just cut it all up cubed, and they all taste the same. So there's tomato sauces on the left, and the ground beef is in the center. So those are just 3 components towards making meals. This is Tennessee. You can see after hiking probably 13 or 14 miles, it's dinner time. The kids are like, it's a fresh meal, and not eating out of a bag really does a lot for morale and spirit. Dinner time is usually about the best time on the trail with the scouts. And obviously today, we had company this day. So that's the slideshow. And now we can get into the different, actually we can leave this on if I go. Let's see.
So just curious about how much does a new dehydrator like that, one of the larger ones, cost?
They're about $300, but when I hike all summer long, I hike in the winter. I use mine all the time. With scouts, that trip for 2 weeks, I believe our meals were like $3.15 per person.
As opposed to $12.
Per day?
Or per meal.
Per meal.
Per meal. But if you look at like Mountain House and the stuff you buy in the store, there's actually an article in the Scout magazine this month about the freeze-dried meals, and they start at $6 and they go up to probably $15. That's a lot of money.
Well, and you know what you're putting in them.
Yes, and there's a lot of sodium. All of our vegetables are raw. They're dehydrated. The peppers are raw. It helps digest better. And there's no chemicals, except for when I deviate from all dehydration. And I have a book here, and that has all of the different, anything you can think of. You can do shrimp,
Can you
fish,
show us the title of the book there?
beef, chicken, and this book is based on using that machine, the Excalibur. So if you want to pass it around, that book actually now has been published. It's in a paperback form. It's on Amazon for I believe $15. I had a key to the guy's website who was making this book, so I actually had that book made before he published his book. Let's see if I can do this.
While he's doing that, the Excalibur dehydrator is great for apple picking season. Those dehydrated apples are the best.
Actually got really good apples this year. First time ever for my apple tree.
There's a little farm stand up in Monroe on 59. We used to go as kids, and they closed down, and I guess they just opened up either last year or this year. Lakeview Orchards, and really nice people that run the stand, and
Still on 59?
yeah, and if you go up to the intersection and you make the left onto 59, it's like half a mile in on the right hand side. And the people in there are really, really nice, to the point where if you cook like Dave and I do, and if like I for school and things like that, if you were to go to like Big Y or Stop and Shop and get get bags of apples for like $5.99 or $6.99, you're getting like 4 or 5 pounds. Well, if you're just gonna cook them anyway, or if you're gonna make pies or cobbler or stuff like that I do, $20 for a bushel basket is not that bad. And you got a nice variety up there, and the seconds are even, there's second apple, the bags of seconds that maybe have like one little blemish in there. I mean, you're only gonna peel them and cut them anyway, you know. $15 for a bushel of like Ida Reds or Macoun or Cortland's are really, it's a deal. I mean, you can't beat it.
So real quick, I just went on Amazon.com, of course using the Connecticut Yankee Council link, so we get money back for scouts. And the 9-tray Excalibur is $176.99.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is that including the timer and everything?
Well, that's the 9-tray, like the one I have.
Yeah.
And there's another one that says $241. I'll be honest, looking at it, I can't tell the difference. They look exactly the same, except they're different numbers.
Yeah, I've seen them multiple times for about $250 with a timer, so you can put the food in there, set it on a timer, and go to bed.
Yeah.
And then wake up in the morning and just shovel it into a Ziploc bag and then run off to work. If
And
you're
your
in a
house
crunch-
smells great.
If you're in a crunch like I have been, I've had it run for a week straight, day and night. Just keep shoveling stuff in. But when you have to make 100 meals, so here is like dehydrating chicken. One of the meals I like, I might take a chicken, this Knorr pasta sides, chicken broccoli. You take the broccoli florets, you put that into the dehydrator in a nice single layer. You dehydrate it. Take the chicken from a can, like the big cans that you get at like Costco or BJ's. Those are already pressure cooked in a can. The chicken is already, the membrane is
That's the
actually
chunk
already
chicken,
broken
right?
down.
The chicken chunks or whatever it is.
Yes, like it's packed in water.
Yeah.
You can take it and run it underneath the sink, and any of the fat that's in that can will actually wash off of the chicken.
Okay.
So now you don't have to worry about it going rancid. I think I actually might have some. This is what the chicken looks like. If you want to pass it around. That and the broccoli. If you're in a jam, there's broccoli florets right out of the 1 pound bag from Stop and Shop. I cut them up so they're all uniform in size. That way they rehydrate at the same rate. So what I'll do is
ATS, let
I'll
me get through with
from lazy.
Yeah, the ATS, let me get through with
Well, I add that to this.
I've seen it already.
I know. I figured comment was gonna be made with that one. So what I'll do is like I'll take this chicken flavored broccoli and I add the broccoli and the chicken. This makes 2 meals. So right now at Stop and Shop, 10 for 10. So you have $1 is your main section of your meal. How could you go wrong? You know, I mean it's simple. The same with the other one. You have the cheddar chipotle.
TSA was eating.
Add ground beef to it, you're done. There's 2 meals. You know? Anything, just about anything, as long as it doesn't have grease in it. This is a chili mix. I put ground beef into it and dehydrated tomato sauce from a jar, Barilla. So it's fantastic. It's just like having it at home.
The ground beef ahead?
Hmm?
You cooking that ground beef ahead of time?
Yes, you brown it.
Alright. Drain it.
And this book actually describes on how to do absolutely everything. Fruits, vegetables, shrimp, all kinds of seafood. That's stuff you gotta do outside though.
Dave, what you're showing on the screen is what was in that cookbook you showed?
This is the cookbook.
Perfect, okay, thank you.
This is that book. I have it in a PDF,
Perfect.
the book, and I have it on a CD.
All right.
Are we gonna get a copy of that?
Yeah.
We said it's on Amazon.
Bell peppers. When you do a 6-pack of bell peppers, it's probably about only that big. But when you make a recipe, you use your base recipe starts off with a half a cup of pasta or rice. Then you add a quarter cup of something, like say I like pasta, and my son likes pasta, so we do a half cup of pasta, a quarter cup of the bell peppers, so you have some. You also get to trick the kids into eating vegetables if they don't know it. A quarter cup of tomato sauce, and a quarter cup of the ground beef. And like pastas, I'll go and buy the Barilla ones that are the mini pastas. They're already pre-cut. Like I guess they're called pasta minis. I always find them at Stop and Shop or Big Y, and that just helps make it rehydrate that much better because it's smaller. Ham, deli ham. I don't care for it. It's a little on the salty side. I'm gonna try a low sodium one, but my son likes it, and we make them the Alfredo. Throw the ham into it. Throw some water in it. If any of the recipes needs milk, or like I like granola for breakfast, I like this Nature's Valley, and I mix it with the Promise one from Stop and Shop, so it's got some nuts and other stuff in it. But milk, I use the Nitto. It's definitely better than the Carnation one. This has got a lot more vitamins in it. I find it in the ethnic aisle. I guess they use it. People use it for baby formula instead of buying like Similac and some of the more expensive stuff. I've actually drank just pure glasses of this, and it's fantastic. Nice cold stream. Mix it up, run it through a purifier. So you need a water purifier. Even if you're gonna boil it, it takes out any types of particles and stuff. But that's basically it. Onions, never do them in the house. Outside on the deck. My wife cooks a lot of onions and peppers. She's Italian from Italy, but let me tell you, she didn't talk to me the first time I did onions for like 2 weeks. It made the house.
Compared to the peppers, how are they compared to the peppers?
Peppers are breeze.
Really?
I do that in the house.
Because my husband hates the pepper smell.
Oh, so you're doing the hot peppers.
Yeah, I do the hot peppers.
Oh yeah.
Hot peppers.
That might be a little different.
It's like pepper spray.
It is. It's like pepper spray in the house.
But the onions, I mean, you can actually fabricate just about anything that you want. Here's even rice. We cooked rice in beef broth.
So you cook the rice and then dehydrate it as
Then
opposed to just using
dehydrate
raw rice?
Yeah, it helps.
Because then it hydrates better.
If everything is dehydrated, it hydrates at the same rate and makes a more evenly cooked meal when you're done. And patience. On our last trip, we had a parent that came along with us, and he just didn't have the patience, and all he did was complain every time he took a bite. He had to crunch. Patience, let it sit. I don't know. That's basically mashed potatoes. That's probably 5 pound. What a 5 pound bag of
Yes.
potatoes.
Yeah.
This is pretty close to what you have left after you take all the water out of 5 pounds of
Wow.
potatoes.
That's fine.
So I make shepherd's pie. This ground beef and Jolly Green Giant. Mixed vegetables, 1 pound bag. There you go. Half cup, quarter cup, shepherd's pie.
Then how much water do you put in with that?
If
About
that's a cup or a cup and a quarter worth of food,
Okay.
you want to go a quarter cup more, only because of the mashed potatoes.
So a cup and a half of water.
Yeah, so it's usually on a 1-to-1 basis,
Okay.
except for mashed potatoes. That's the exception to the rule. You always add an extra quarter cup, because you can always simmer it longer too, and thicken it up too. Any questions?
Will you come camping with us?
Possibly. But it has to be like an exceptional trip, though.
That's great. Dave, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Dave.
Thank you.